Well, Shaun Wright-Phillips joins us now. What do you think, Shaun? Do you think the right way to go is to take a stand? You yourself have suffered abuse, racist abuse. Do you think that's the right way to go? To just say, no, I don't have to live with this, I shouldn't have to live with this, I'm off the pitch?
I think they're doing it because they actually don't have no other route on way of punishing it. Like, it's been going on for a while now, and you can go back to the Calgary situations, all the way back to Etu, then Suleiman Tari, who reported it the right way as he ended up getting sent off and the fine. Then Moise Keane and obviously Lukaku, and then the Inter Milan fans send a letter basically stating it wasn't racial abuse, but clearly they haven't seen the social media footage themselves. So the last thing that players want to do is exactly what the English players are talking about.
Kira mentioned in that VT, that film there, that you were in an England team that got abused in Spain many years ago now. What is it like when you're on a pitch and you're doing what you do for your country or for your club and you start facing this racial abuse? And what sort of racial abuse have you faced?
The racial abuse I faced was pretty much what Lukaku faced, but for me, it was, my dad's always brought me up to, like, you got to try and be professional on the pitch at the end of the day.
So the racial abuse was monkey chants? Was it verbal? Was it language particularly?
It was mainly the noises and sounds, to be honest with you, and it's not nice, but...
It's horrific.
At the end of the day, like, I didn't want to let my team down, so I have to try and block it out and get on with it.
How hard is that?
It's very hard, especially when you don't see people suffering the consequences. For me, at the end of the day, like, there's kids in the stand and families, and I don't want to bring my kid to a football match knowing they're going to be hearing that and thinking it's the right thing to do.
What did your team, the rest of the team, how did they react? Is that critical? Because I think one of the things with Gareth Southgate, he's going to talk to the whole team and take a view what all of them feel about what they should do if racist abuse occurs. Is there something kind of consoling, supporting about knowing that the whole team would be behind you?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it would make it a lot better if, like, everybody was behind you because, like I said before, it's not a nice thing whether it's in football or not in football. I just feel like it shouldn't exist anymore and it's just wrong.
We have had the situation where Chelsea have banned a fan who was racially abusing Raheem Sterling for life. I think you've said you would quite like to see fans that are caught being banned from their clubs and supporting football or going to football for life. You think that would be a punishment that actually might start curbing some of this?
Yeah, I feel so, because I think, like, in football, it's passion. So, like, you have lifelong fans that bring their sons up, then their grandchildren become it. And I feel like if you take away something that somebody loves, maybe it might start making people behave. And if it doesn't, at least then it's not in the stadium. We've seen
occasions, too many occasions, where England players have been abused particularly when they're abroad. There's this match coming up in Bulgaria, of course. If the England team were to walk off, because we've seen these FAs, wherever they might be, being fined a certain amount of money. We've seen teams having to have matches behind closed doors, no fans, no home fans and stuff. But it's still going on. If the team were to walk off collectively, what sort of message would that send? I mean, I'm sure the players don't want to do that. I'm sure the players just want to win the game and show the fans that their abuse isn't going to affect them. But as a message, if they were to walk off collectively, how sort of heavy would that resonate across world football, do you think?
I think it would be a massive step, because they would show a stand and saying, look, we're not taking it anymore. And my teammates that are not of ethnic colour or origin are backing me as well, so they're swinging the same way as everybody else that watches it and the people up above that are trying to help it.
Because it's horrible for them. They don't want to hear that any more than it's obviously particularly horrible if it's aimed directly at you, but it's horrible if it's aimed at someone you care and love as well, I'm guessing. There's lots of questions raised about this, though, isn't there, in terms of how what the reaction would be. If the team did walk off the pitch, would they then forfeit that match effectively? Should they then be penalised, you know, in terms of their qualifying match for the Euros, or should they get an automatic pass? If they were winning at that time, should they give up their winning lead? You could see how technically the system would have to catch up with such a bold move, wouldn't it?
No, I just think, like, if it's proven that there is racial abuse, then the team's fans that give the racial abuse should just quit the game as a loss, and results should go to the winner, basically. And then I feel like they have to stump up now and say, look, we don't want this because then otherwise we're going to lose the game and we might not qualify for, say, the Euros or the World Cup.
Andy makes an interesting point. He said, as disgusting as racism is, once you walk off, I think it'll only get worse. By walking off, you hand power to the perpetrators. Let the authorities deal with them. Words are just that. Words don't hurt. It's more self-pride or looking weak. You don't want to look weak.
I suppose, yes, the opposition, if they were losing, could start hurling abuse, then the match would be voided.
Yeah, but that's why the team that hurls the abuse should suffer the loss. Yeah. Because that's what people would do. But at the end of the day, I understand what Andy's saying, and my dad always said that, and I do feel like if you walk off, that you're giving them what they want. But at the end of the day, the players are at their last resort. So it shouldn't even get to them. So what do you do next?